Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Anime Iceberg. I'm Megan,
And I'm Meg.
and today we're talking about Dr. Stone, Episode 23, Wave of Science.
Summary of the episode. Now that the Kingdom of Science has access to tungsten, they can finish building the cell phone.
Yes, and this covers manga chapter 57, Heat Heart, and 58, Wave of Science.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't think we have anything else to talk about, so let's get into the episode. As the summary said, they are making their cell phone. Um, and now that they have their tungsten, it's time to make their filaments, and everybody's into it, including Magma. He gets right to work. He's not even asked. Senku's like, we need to get the tungsten, and he's like starts breaking up the rock. He and his okay, I was gonna say side piece, but that's
Sidebar.
oh gosh.
He and his
Sidekick.
what's that fish called that attaches itself to a shark to mooch off of it?
Oh, um, snake. No. Yeah. Are you Googling it?
Hang on.
Okay. Get it.
Fish that attacked the sharks. One of the first things that popped up. Remora fish. I'm gonna call
Yeah.
Mantle a remora from now on.
All right. He is. He's a little turd. He
Oh
looks like
yeah.
you. Oh gosh.
I want to
Uh,
know who sired that man. Like, how did his parents raise him? Or did he grow up without parents, maybe? That is a possibility, I guess, in the village. But honestly, he I wonder what people in the village think of him.
right? Well, I mean, honestly, okay. Magma and Mantle give me Gaston LeFou vibes.
Well, yeah, and we've
But
we've said that
it
before, but I feel
it's
like Mantle just doesn't have a personality outside of Magma, obviously.
yeah.
And well, who knows? Who knows? Maybe he actually does have virtuous qualities. My goodness, I don't think so.
No. You remember
Uh,
like in
so
the
yes, he's a yes man. But
yeah. Oh my
I
gosh.
I haven't seen him act once on his own.
No, that's so true. And everything that he had does say is just super sleazy. Wait, didn't we look up his age? Isn't he like,
21.
oh,
How old is
time has not
Magma?
been kind to him.
Okay, if he has some super sad backstory, I would feel a little bit bad for him. I wouldn't I wouldn't crave his destruction as much. But
Are you
he's
looking up
not
how
as
old?
bad. Yeah, I'm looking up how old Magma
Okay.
is. He's not as bad as Mineta from My Hero Academia.
Oh, no. No
And that's a
one is
kid.
as bad.
If that kid died during the war arc, I'd just be like, hmm, moving on.
Yeah, honestly, you'd
That's a
probably feel
horrible thing to
more
say, but
right, but honestly, you'd probably feel more sad for like the other characters' reactions.
yeah. You just watch. They're gonna give him some tragic backstory, then we'll have to feel bad for him.
No, no, nothing excuses the way he acts, okay?
Let's see. Okay, okay. Magma's 22.
Okay, still.
Well, I
I
guess.
like,
I mean,
okay.
he reminds me of
Everybody,
the guys who lifted all the time in high school and college, so yeah.
yeah, but to me, he looks like he's 30. Not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
I know. It's hard to
Anyway,
tell anime character ages.
right? My friend and I were just talking about that, how it's unfair that they make all these high school boys look like adults. It's just like, dude,
I was listening to a
chill.
podcast today. It's called Animation Addicts. Go check it out. It's awesome. But they were covering the movie Suzume,
Mm,
and when Sota showed up, they're just like, "Oh, what a
mm.
cutie!" And you know that they're older, so they can like look back and be like, "Oh, he's such a cutie." Of course, this 17-ish-year-old girl is like, "Ooh," but Sota's like 24. They said. I
Yeah,
thought he was younger, but I mean,
yeah, no, he's in like grad school, so
that's right. That's
yeah.
right. So, so I was like, oh. Yeah, when he's not too old for us.
Right? It's always awesome when when there's a character that's an adult.
Anyway, sorry about that little tangent. We shouldn't talk so much about a character we dislike.
Right? He was on the screen, I think, for like 10 seconds, maybe.
10 seconds of ugh.
Like, please leave. That's enough. All right. Anyway. And then okay, so they're making their tungsten and we get this super cute this is like the cutest scene. What Senku needs to he needs to do some he needs to mix together some chemicals and I don't remember exactly what he's doing, but he's got to go to the science shed
He said he's
and
making tungsten toothpaste.
oh yes, yes. And then but he's like somebody needs to make a pinpoint heating mechanism and then Chrome is like, but we don't have another scientist. And Senku just like looks at him and is like, yes, we do. And just the look on Chrome's face is so precious.
Like,
Like,
really? Me?
I
Little
love
little
it.
puppy dog eyes going on there.
Yeah. And then we get an awesome, I don't know if this is the first time they do it, but they're like high five.
Very
And
dramatic
then,
high five.
yes, yes. And Kasaki is there and he's like, oh, I'm so jealous of you guys because you're such a great team. And Chrome is like, what do you mean? We're all on a team together. And Kasaki's like, what, you don't care um
Like
that I'm
50
so
years
much
older
older?
than.
And he's like, no, age doesn't matter. Anybody can be your friend. Ugh, just so precious. And so then they go off. Gen and Senku are making their tungsten toothpaste.
Yes,
Um,
in the manga, when Senku drags Gen away, he notes that Gen would know the basics of chemistry because he's from the modern times. So that's why he enlisted Gen's help. And that's true. I mean, Gen's 19. He would have been through high school and probably had a chemistry class or two.
mhm. And I love Senku is like his explanation of chemistry is just like spot on. He's just like chemistry is just adding and removing things, and that is exactly right. And then we also Chrome and Koski are working together. They're Chrome like made an apparatus and then they're like trying to melt different metals and by pumping
They have a setup
the
where it's like pumping oxygen to fuel the fire, then they have a lens to focus light to make it heat up. Like they're pulling out all the stops.
mm-hmm. Yep. And then I love this like tiny scene, but Chrome like keeps enlisting like stronger people to like pump the oxygen. And he enlists the gorilla team, which is Kohaku and Magma, and then like he calls him that, and then a second later you see like a huge bump on his head because Kohaku beat him up. But
Love how
very entertained by
casual those
that.
two are with their relationship. And Chrome never like I mean, in the beginning of the series, we had those scenes where he'd be like, "I'm sorry, ma'am," but
Mm-hmm.
every other time that she beats him up, he's just like, yep, moving on."
Yeah,
They're such siblings.
they are. One day I'm sure they will be.
Oh yes, I'm sure.
Um, and Senku is very surprised by Chrome's creation. He's like, "You went hard," and Chrome was like, "Of course I did." And then they melt their tungsten and make their filament.
Yep, and the manga narration says this was the first time that all of Ishigami Village teamed up for a project. As for the fruits of their labor, a rod just a few centimeters long.
Yep, that's like me working for months on an experiment, and then all that goes into the paper is just one little picture, and you're like, that was months of work.
That reminds me of, well, mangakas because like they take how long to figure out how to lay out their pages and draw them, and you just glance at the page for like 2 seconds, read the words, and move on.
Oh my goodness, that is so true.
Unless you're me, I spend a lot of
Yeah.
time just like staring at pages because art is pretty.
I do not. I read like super fast. Every once in a while I'll go back and be
Well,
like, oh,
okay, if you're talking about an intense chapter of The Promised Neverland, of course I'm blazing through that thing like nobody's business.
yeah. Yeah. I try to stop and smell the roses every once in a while, but
Roses have thorns, keep going.
exactly.
I was catching up on Snow White with the red hair the other day, and I was just like, "Oh, they're so pretty. I love their outfits." No time, I gotta keep going.
Mm, yeah. Well, it's just like I think for me when reading manga, like, there's only like a couple sentences per page, really. So like I'm like I gotta know more of the story until you're like flying through. It's not like a book
And
where it's
that's
all
intentional.
words and you have to like, picture the scene in your mind, but manga
Right,
it's right
right.
there in front of you.
But that's intentional. Like they pace things out with the panel layouts so that you can read at the right speed to get like the reactions and the like reveals at the exact right moments.
Yeah. A lot of work. Okay. Yes, now they have their tungsten. And the next thing that they need is a Hickman pump, which is a super complicated glass apparatus.
It's like what you
Um,
see in scientific movies or monster movies, like
yeah,
the
yeah.
things heated up and the coils with the
I
liquids in
think,
them.
uh, was it for removing all the air? Was that what that was for? I can't remember.
I
Let me.
think, or partially at least.
I'm Googling. I'm Googling.
The Hickman
Um,
pump we need is a level 10 billion vacuum pump with sucking power like you wouldn't believe. That's what Senku says in the manga.
okay, so sucking power that tells me that it was sucking out the air, right?
Yep. I
Okay.
mean, yeah, it's quite the device.
Oh, yeah, it's very complicated looking
I
and
like Senku's drawing of it too, and he has a little stick figure of himself
yes,
beside
I
it.
loved that. I love that. Um, Kaseki is like, how am I gonna make this? And then Gen is like trying to goad him. Like, oh, you can't do it. And
Only the
Kaseki's like,
best craftsman could do this in
yeah.
our time. I don't think you're up to the task.
And Kaseki's just like, no, I'm gonna do it, and you don't need to try to goad me. But what he really wants though is he said what did he say like the cool thing that you did with Chrome, and he
He
just
doesn't know
like
what to
wants
call
a
it, but
high five like
yeah.
so awesome.
Yep. And then the manga, Ginro, well, he does this in the anime too. He states the obvious that Kaseki just wanted to help Senku and lighten his workload. He was just, putting up a front and saying, "Oh yeah, I'll trade you a high five for it." And Kohaku's like, "Are you dense? That is so obvious." And Senku's like, "Yeah, that's 10 billion% obvious." And Chrome is in the background and there's a thought bubble. He's like, "Bad, I didn't realize that at all."
Uh,
Chrome sometimes though. Things can go
um,
over your head when you're focused on something else. But
mhm.
I think Crumb should have that t-shirt from Sherlock, the I don't understand. I still don't understand.
uh honestly the whole Ichigami village needs that shirt.
And they just point to it when Senku's explaining something.
Mm-hmm. So after Katsuki gets his high five, Suika also wants a high five. And so she and the kids are like, we're gonna, make um all
Like
the
twisting the
wire.
wire. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
there's a
And then
lot of it.
ugh, yeah, and so then she and Senku high five. It's so cute. And then they're on to the next step, which is making plastic. Oops, which I guess this is where he talked about what chemistry is. Whatever.
Oh yeah.
Same thing.
Oh,
Um,
I thought it was really cute. So, I mean, in the manga, you can see how they spell things differently to get the pronunciations when the villagers don't understand what Senku is talking about. And Chrome says, "Cool. Not that I know what plastic is."
uh,
But they do that a lot in the manga where Senku will say something and they'll repeat it wrong because, they don't know what that is.
yeah. So then he makes formalin, which is actually, I mean, it's used to preserve bodies.
Yep.
Yuck. It has a very distinct smell if you've ever been around it. I'm sure, I mean, like if you've ever dissected something
Oh, I
in
hate that
in
smell. That
science
makes me want
class,
to
like
puke.
yeah,
The
that's
smell
what
is
that
what
is.
always got to me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say I could care less I was cutting into a dead animal, but also it's just like that mixed with the smell just makes me go, ugh, gross.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me anymore.
I think the worms were the worst one for me. I mean, even though they don't have a
Really?
face, yeah, they don't have a face, it shouldn't bother me that much. But like, I think it was because they absorbed more of the smell, maybe, and it was just like
Mm.
cutting into them was just like a chore for me. And I remember like the evening after I got back from school, I was just like, I can't think about it. And like I couldn't eat certain foods for a while because I was just so like,
Oh, that is so funny. I think I'm a little bit immune to that
Oh, of course you
because
are.
even in like high school when I had to do it, the smell never bothered me that much. And I remember why it's so bad. But like one time there I was like this was not in high school. This wasn't that long ago. There was something that somebody made and I was like this smells exactly like animals that I've dissected and then I just ate it anyway.
Ah,
I didn't care. It's kind of bad. Like
well,
yikes. But thing
different
is like it didn't like
smells.
look anything like it.
Right.
And it
Different
wasn't
different
anything
smells
like
affect
it, but
people differently. You know, like there are some smells people
mm,
can't stand while others love. Like I actually like the smell of vinegar, which is really weird.
oh,
Yeah.
nope. I can't. I will say like I do actually have kind of a sensitive nose, so it's kind of weird that that doesn't bother me. But yeah, vinegar I can't do if even if there's like a little bit of vinegar like in my food, I can't eat it. Like it will make me sick.
Okay, no
Like it
vinegar, no cilantro. Making notes
yeah,
of foods you don't like.
and no peppers.
No? Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. I know it's the smell. I don't know why. It's like
No, I get it. I get
it's
it.
gross and it stinks because that they like peppers are in a lot of stuff. It's sad. Anyway, I know I've been making mental notes for you too. I was like, no gummy candy. That
You can have it, just not me.
I know, but if I was ever buying candy for like a movie night and I wouldn't
Ah.
buy like all gummy candy unless I
I'd
didn't
just
want
be
to share.
I'd just be sitting there on the couch going,
Like you
thanks.
don't even you don't love me. Like
We're not friends anymore.
Okay, so if I want to make you mad or when I'm upset with you, that's what I should do. No. Okay, we're almost done. Um, yeah, so everybody's working on their own projects, and while Suika and her friends are trying to like make the wire, it's like middle of winter, so their hands are super cold. And so then Senku makes stoves for everyone in the village. And it's like it's another one of those moments where like so the chief like comes up to him and he's like you're just I know you're just doing this because like you need the ashes, but you're helping our village. So it just like Senku's doing something nice under the guise of oh yeah, we need the ashes for our super evil project.
But he's
But
also like, well, hey, science just gives rise to progress. That's just how it is. Like things
mm-hmm.
will help you. And I mean, it was also a great moment though because they needed the ash and they needed to make the stoves, and people were worried about the coming winter and that they might lose people to the cold, like people would die. But you
Mm-hmm.
could see it. You could see the moment where Senku and Chrome realized what they could do because they're like, oh, we need to heat up some things, and Senku and Chrome make eye contact and they just smile at each other like, hey, let's do this thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's like one of my favorite moments from this episode. And then the next step is the manganese batteries. And Gen is put on that task. And he sings a ridiculous song. Um,
There
it,
is an English version floating around out there. You can YouTube it. It's not on Crunchyroll for some reason, but Brandon
yeah,
McInnes is a good singer, so he sang that little jingle.
yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Well,
I like
tell me
totally
you don't
forgot
sing
about
to
it, and then
yourself when you work.
oh, I I do. It's bad because I know everybody can hear me, but I just do it anyway. Okay. Anyway. And then then the first intro song plays and there's like a time skip of everybody working to making all their working on their projects. And then they finally complete their plastic and their wire, and then they also make a microphone and Hickman pump. And they put everything together and they have their cell phone called the Senku
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah, that was awesome. And that's where the episode ends on a really great note.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a pretty fun manga extra here. There is a Mecha Senku Q&A. Kohaku implies that Senku is quite the charmer, but how did the girls at his high school feel about him? Girl A says, the inventions he makes are so crazy that he exists in this weird zone outside of cool or lame. Girl B says, if he cared enough, he'd probably make a love potion for real and have no trouble dating. Girl C says the white lab coat is hot. Girl D says the white lab coat is scary. Girl E says all that science will probably make him rich one day. And girl F says that weird science of his will probably destroy the world. And Mechasenku says he has both fans and haters.
Hmm. Which girl are you?
Hmm. I think I'd just be like, oh yeah, he's really smart. He'll probably do well in life. Like, I'd probably respect him quite a bit. I'm not sure if I'd find him approachable or not. It depends on like how socially isolated he is or not. Because I was kind of like on the, I mean, I came from a really small school, so popular and outcast were kind of moot points. I mean, there definitely were people who kind of fell into one or the other, but I sort of just drifted, found my group, stuck with them, tried to do my best, failed miserably. Great academically. Socially, I think I just squeaked by.
Oh, well, now you're thriving
Hmm.
socially.
Yeah. Hmm.
So am I.
But yes, all that to say that I think I could get along with Senku very well. I'm just not sure if I'd had um any cause to interact with him that much.
Mm-hmm.
I know which
Yeah.
one you are.
We don't need to say which one I am. We'll leave the audience guessing.
I think they might be able to guess.
Um, all right. Yes, Senku. He says, get excited once. I think at the very end of the episode.
Uh-huh.
Thank you for writing that down for me. I
Yeah,
did
I
mark
caught it
it
at the
and
very
then
end.
I did too, and I just forgot to write it. Write it down. Oh, I guess okay, the next thing's me too. This is the thing that I added. Um, yes, I wanted to talk again about the cell phone. Because I think it just reminded me when we're watching this. I think other like another thing that people had a problem with is like how the cell phone just like appeared, but it's like that's not what happened.
There's time
Like
skips.
there's literally they spent months, and literally the entire village had to work on it for months and months to get it done.
Yeah.
And like it's they put a lot of time and effort, and you can see the result, not a cell phone. It is
It's a
a
World War II
community.
communicator.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Um, so we just wanted to reiterate that quitting the show because of the cell phone is not reasonable.
Yeah, wrong. We're right. Deal with it.
We- Yes. Great way to sum up that argument.
Yeah, so people just turned off the podcast going,
Yeah, they're
I
like
hate these. I hate
never
these
listening
chicks.
again.
Nah, I
Uh,
think I get upset about it too just because I am a loyal fan and I'm like, man, you didn't want to stick with it. They explained how they did it. But
yeah.
I get it. It's not everyone's forte for
No, it
yeah.
is definitely the show is very it is a very unique shonen. It's not
Yes.
constant battles or like super like you know, we're watching Freerun right now and the character's like already OP, but she's not like she's not working to get stronger. And like
Yeah.
that's the same here. Like Senku is already like as he is at peak intelligence, he's not going up, like he's not getting smarter. Like that's
Yeah.
not the point of the show. Like
Okay, speaking of free run though, I do have one thing I noticed, especially when we were watching yesterday. One thing that I have an issue with.
what is it?
These characters that are in the exams right now, they are getting wounded fatally. And they just like keep talking like they've only got a scratch and they get carted out of there. And yes, they do have magical healers. Their lives can be saved. But also, I'm like, you just coughed up like a gallon of blood. You would be passed out by now.
That is true. I think I'm like so desensitized
Well, after watching
that I'm just
JJK
like
and Megumi gets blasted through three walls and comes out standing on the other side,
yeah, you're just like, merely a flesh wound.
it's just a
Like,
misread. No, no, my cursed energy powers give me like Superman's invulnerability.
yeah,
Fight
that's
me on JJK, guys.
oh no. Now everybody turned off the podcast.
I gotta say though, I do like JJK, but now I'm getting into Noragami, and a lot of the things they fight, like these evil entities brought on by bad emotions or feelings, like these curses in the world, Noragami did it first. JJK adds some flavorful additions to that kind of power system though, and it could very well just be like a cultural thing. So
hmm
they are different, very
Yeah.
different from each other. But I am noticing like preferences that I have personally for that particular type of storytelling.
hmm Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like that's a pretty common storyline in manga that I've noticed is that yeah, they're like fighting curses or like demons. That's also
Monsters,
pretty
evil entities that aren't
yes.
human.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
that's a very common. Um
Maybe I should
and
cut out the fight me part.
nah.
Fight me! Now, honestly, I love to hear people's opinions on why they like the shows they like, which ones they think are better than others, and why one is the greatest above all else and whatnot.
Well, we already know which one's the greatest, but
Yes, yes, we do.
yeah, no, we love hearing other people's opinions, I guess. Even if they're trash, we love hearing.
Wow.
We're making lots of friends in this episode.
So, I'm usually very open to people's thoughts and opinions, I just want to say. I feel
I'm
like,
not.
yeah, I'm painting myself a bad picture. You're the skeptic here, so
They have a good cop, bad cop.
yeah.
Okay.
Shujin.
Saiko. Okay. That's enough. What was your favorite line of the episode?
Mine came from Chrome when he was talking to Kasuki. But you're not building things on your own anymore, are you? You've got crafting buddies. I thought that was a very, very sweet moment.
Mm-hmm.
And what was yours?
Mine came from Senku when he's telling Chrome that he's a scientist. He's like, you've got to throw all the science tricks you've learned at it, or do you need Professor Senku to come and hold your hand?
I made that manga page where we're in place of Senku and Chrome. That's
Oh,
that's the
you did.
line. Yep.
Oh,
Do you need Professor Meg to come hold your hand?
no, I believe in you.
If I was in a lab, mass chaos would ensue.
I am in a lab every day and mass chaos does ensue.
Awesome.
All right. What did we learn in this episode?
We learned that friends can span generations.
hmm Very true. And who pushed story forward?
Everyone crushed it. Ishigami Village, 10 billion points.
Yes.
Cop out
All
answer,
right.
everyone, but whatever.
Hey, no, it's true. Like literally they all, what did I literally just say?
They all
That
work together.
yes, it took all of them to make their cell phone.
It takes a village.
Okay. That's it. We gotta quit while we're ahead.
Were we ever ahead?
Yes.
Once upon a time.
This is our podcast. We can say whatever we want.
Okay,
Okay. We'll be back next week.
bye.
Bye.